Hello! So as you guys know, I'm super into really realistic gore, and for me that means makeup that has like invisible edges or like perfectly blended out edges so you can't tell where the makeup begins and the real person's real skin begins. I really like it when it's like colour matched to the skin perfectly, so there's also not like a trace of where the makeup ends because it's a different colour to the person's skin. I really like it when there's like super details, like there is a skin texturing and there is a texture of different tissues throughout, like a fatty tissue or of muscle or bone, and they're like well defined. I really like it when the makeup's like quite movable and flexible and it moves with the body. So for me the transition to moving into using silicone and moulds took a little while because I really wanted things to be done instantly and I wanted things to be fast and I wanted things to be cheap. And it's a little bit like I don't understand why you would then use moulds or use silicone, but oh my god, flat moulds just like take it to a whole different level. And I basically right now this video is going to be like a poem by me about all the ways that I love flat moulds. But the reasons that I love flat moulds, so you sculpt it out of like plastiline or clay, so you can sculpt in every tiny detail. If you mess it up, you have as much time as you want to re-sculpt it or smooth it out or whatever. You have those different tools and different solvents and things to get different textures in there. So it's just a really controlled kind of environment, and you know what you're going to get before you apply it, because if you're going to like a shoot or whatever, you have your piece already made, so you know it's exactly how you want it. Whereas if you're kind of doing something in sculpt gel or in wax or whatever, there's a chance that when you're doing it, it's not going to turn out the way that you want it to. And if you do make a mistake when applying the flat mould, you have several copies available just to use that instead. So then having the several copies also really helps if you want to have like continuity and have the same wound multiple days in a row of filming. Then you can have that, you just have multiple copies come out of it. So it also makes it really fast because you don't have to spend the time waiting for the silicone to cure when you're doing your sculpt gel or whatever. You just take it out, put the glue in it, slap it down, you dissolve the edges, like match the colour and put some blood and you're like done. So it makes it a lot easier to get just highly realistic makeup, but like really fast. And silicone is just like this amazing substance, because it's just so like it's pretty translucent, which helps for realism because the skin's pretty translucent as well. And just like it moves and it feels so much like flesh. Like I think it's just the closest thing that you can use to have something be really flesh-like. And on top of that, it's really like durable. Like a lot of different things that you use are quite fragile to damage or quite fragile to heat or quite fragile to sweat and water. But silicone's just like, man, like I got this, and it will just stick on you and it will stay on you and it will move with you. And I don't know, I think it's gonna be my favorite thing to use forever at this stage. The downsides to it is that when you are like mixing it to use it in a mould, silicone is sensitive to things like sulfur, which is in latex, and so you can have a contaminated batch which won't cure and it will just stay sticky, or you can cross-contaminate your A and B mixtures, so it will cure in the thing. So like it's sensitive before it's sensitive during the workshopping kind of phase, of the behind the scenes phase, but once you've got it and it's done and you take it to a film shoot, it's going to be like awesome. So one of my favourite makeup artists recently launched a line of his own flat moulds, which obviously for me is like the most exciting thing that ever happened. And his name's Stuart Bray. He's had like I think maybe 20 years experience in the industry or something crazy long like that, and it shows because like his detail and his sculpting is amazing. He works in Game of Thrones, so and in particular what caught my attention was this cutthroat mould that he had, and this cutthroat had like the larynx visible and like just veins and like fatty tissue, and so I thought, well, you guys really like I've had many requests to do like a kind of a cutthroat or open throat tutorial look, and I'm like, this would be so easy to use this mould to get like the most realistic, like awesomely detailed, gory neck. And it's so easy because you don't have to sculpt anything, you just have to know how to fill it and apply it, which is it's pretty simple. So I was like, this will be perfect. And I checked with him, I'm like, is it okay if I like buy your mold and then put a YouTube video up showing how awesome it is. And he said, yeah, and he said he's already got like videos that show how to do this, but I was like, specifically I want to show how to do this neck one because I know that you guys want to see a neck video. So he said yes, and he was like kind enough to send me an extra mold for free, which is his straight slit throat, so it's like not got any of the cartilage or veins, it's got like the kind of fatty tissue underneath. I was like, oh, that's cool, like that's really nice, you totally don't have to do that. So on top of being insanely talented, he's also a really nice guy. What's surprising is I ended up liking this mold more than the other one. I'll put up a video of the other one as well because it's awesome, like it deserves to be seen. But I've just found this mold it's so versatile, I think, because it's designed to be put on the neck, but you've got like a layer of skin with a layer of fatty tissue, and so really any place in your body where you're going to have a fatty tissue layer, you could put this mold down and have this like open kind of gash of all this detail. So I'm like, oh wow, this is so versatile, I can use this anywhere. And a couple of times I've used it already, like on my thigh and on my leg, to kind of try out different cuts and things. Yeah, so that's exciting, I like that. The only criticism is that the detail on the neck, it's kind of designed to be like goose pimply kind of neck skin, and so sometimes that can look out of place in other parts of the body, but it's very subtle, so I think it will work on most necks. And so these are very easy to self-apply, because you can get the glue and you're going to place it down and you look in the mirror and you can kind of paint everything. I don't self-apply it in the video just because it's kind of hard filming when, you know, like to apply something you need a mirror right in front of you, but then you need the camera right in front of you, so it's just like so much easier to put it on another person. So I've got my little sister and I've applied it to her. She was nice enough to model for me. Yeah, alright.